to see that the faces are still there and no one's changed their name either. Yeah, I'd like to introduce Jason Sigbury, say fellow trustee. He's also on the committee for our EDI, and on the board for Shooters Hill as well, I believe, Jason.
Yes.
So welcome. I don't know if many of you have seen Jason before, but he works tirelessly behind the scenes at Kent Tennis to make sure all our T's and C's regarding our EDI policy are all up to date. So over to you, Jason, on International Women's Day.
Thank you, Andy. Very nice to meet you all, and hopefully get to see some of you in person very soon. So just kind of following on from Andy's comment, you would have seen that Kent Tennis shared an EDI event calendar with clubs and venues so that they could commemorate notable dates to help celebrate diversity and work towards making their spaces more inclusive. International Women's Day is one of the upcoming notable dates, and it really presents a chance to acknowledge the achievements of women.
In my sponge. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Thought I had a question there. And it presents a key chance to acknowledge the achievements of women whilst raising awareness about discrimination and gender inequality. The theme this year is Accelerate Action. So this is a campaign emphasizing the urgency of making faster, more effective strides towards gender equality. The current research is stating that at the current rate of progress, it will take 133 years to reach full gender parity. So that's kind of the thinking behind the theme this year. As Andy was mentioning, it falls on a Saturday, but this is within the month of Women's History Month. So another notable period to kind of raise awareness of the contributions of women that they've made throughout history and society. Just echoing the sentiment of what Keith was saying, the celebration of the event really fits well with Kent Tennis's EDI agenda as well as the LTA's agenda. It features on our inclusion plan and is in line with our key aims, that being increasing female participation, attracting new players, for example, creating more inclusive environments, so empowering venues and clubs to become more accessible and welcoming for women, addressing any barriers and obstacles to female participation, and celebrating female excellence within the sport, so celebrating their achievements and promoting female leadership. So you would have seen Kent Tennis has done a lot about offering coaching to encourage more female coaches into the sport. So nonetheless, we really want to be able to support clubs and venues to be able to celebrate this date. So some of what we're going to be offering is, number one, what Andy was mentioning around the inclusion mentor support. So providing clubs that kind of support to kind of maximize the reach of any events that they want to do. We'll offer some comms and promo support, so using our communication channels to help clubs promote their events should they wish to do anything over Women's History Month or International Women's Day, share good stories, best practices, etc. And more importantly, resource materials. We understand that this might be the first time clubs and venues are doing such events. So we will provide resource materials from International Women's Day. I'll share the pack in one moment so you can kind of see the type of things available, but it's mainly around, you know, pledge cards, posters, kind of ideas that clubs could do around this date. Let me actually just show you now. I'll share my screen. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Have I got to give you co-host to do that?
Oh, yeah, you do. Janice, I don't know whether it's in the email thread, the resource pack from International Women's Day, you know that link? I don't know whether you could share that on my behalf.
Probably be just easier just to make you co-host because
Okay.
as you've got your document to hand. I've just given you co-host. See if that gives you the opportunity to share your screen. Yeah, that does.
You can see it, yeah?
Yeah, perfect.
Brilliant. So this is what we'll share. But we'll also provide a supplementary document kind of sharing the type of ideas that clubs could do. So it shares things like social media cards, so what clubs can use. It's already generated posters to celebrate the day, selfie cards, so clubs can do some more comms and individualized comms for the day, and it provides some information on how to share good news stories with the International Women's Day organization. The one thing I need to make clear is it's okay to make reference to International Women's Day, but if any clubs want to use their logo on any of the resources, we would have to seek permission for that. But we'll share this document afterwards. But what we really wanted to do today is open it up to the floor in terms of, from a club and venues perspective, what do you think might be helpful for Kent Tennis to offer funding for in order for clubs and venues to celebrate or do any events? So kind of the ideas that we've generated from our point of view, it could be Women's Open Day sessions on International Women's Day, specifically aimed at non-members, so free sessions with the coaches of clubs. It could be Mother Day group coaching sessions. It could be other introductory events to target more women into clubs, whether that's women cardio tennis sessions. It could be social events in clubs. It could be discounts or promotion for women during the month for coaching sessions, all of these type of things. But really and truly what we want to do, we want to open it to the floor to kind of get ideas. And then the plan after this session is that me, Keith, and Andy will calibrate and get in contact, sharing resources and potential funding opportunities. That's it from me.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. With that, as I said, there are funding pots available with Kent Tennis this year, certainly to start, be it all female coaching sessions. As I said, trying to get new females to clubs as well, and also look at trying to support women's charities out there locally as well. I looked last night, and there's Bexley Women's Aid, for instance, which is a very large charity, obviously in the Bexley area. But potentially, could these charities be contacted, and the women that utilise these charities, be invited to your tennis club also, and be welcomed with their children also. So, as I said, there is a very large and wide scope, for us to utilise the funding pots available through Kent Tennis. So yeah, I'd like to just open it up to the floor with any ideas. I know I'm going to go to Karen first of all, because I know she's got a very good one, Karen. So I'm going to put you on the spot, if that's okay, with you coming in first.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine, Andy. Hi, everyone. So with it being 8th of March, International Women's Day, falling on a Saturday, I straight away thought, okay, I usually run a cardio tennis session on a Saturday morning after free park tennis. So it's like ideal opportunity to use inspirational women's music. I mean, you just go on Spotify and put in inspirational women's music, and so much comes up. And I just thought that would be really great. And I wouldn't just make it just for ladies, it'd be for men as well, celebrating women, if you see what I mean. It should be for everyone. And then afterwards, I've ordered Play Your Way to Wimbledon pack for Markwood Park. And so I'm going to be running doubles tournaments for women, and also for girls from 11 to 18. And basically, because it's a park venue, it is actually open to anyone that wants to come along, but we're not going to advertise it so great players come from all over the county. It's meant for the local players to have a go and have fun. I know I've spoken to our pickleball players about it, and who also I know play tennis, and they said, oh yeah, give us a date now, we'll be up for it. So it's getting people to have a go at it that wouldn't normally sign up for it, and just celebrating, obviously women in our community, and also bringing them together, because a lot of the groups, they come for their session, but they don't mix with other groups in the park setting, if you see what I mean. So it'd be a great way of bringing everyone, I hope, together.
Yeah, no, I think that's amazing, Karen. And I think you nailed it in the head. This is not necessarily about just doing exclusionary events just for women, although I think it would be useful having events aimed at benefiting just women. But again, events, mixes of events that involves everyone to celebrate women and the contributions that they make.
And I didn't know. I didn't know up until yesterday there was an International Women's Day playlist as well, Karen. So thanks for telling me that. But there is a Spotify, I think, and YouTube International Women's Day playlist. So that'd be great for your cardio session.
Certainly will be. I mean, also, I didn't know whether if other coaches were happy to do it as well. I mean, whether any funding could be given to coaches so they can make the places free. I mean, I'm to my mind, free park tennis rolling into a free cardio session. It just makes sense. It's seamless, and then into the Play Your Way to Wimbledon. You get Play Your Way to Wimbledon resources free as a venue anyway. It's just really the coach's time, whether, you know, would it help to encourage coaches to put on these sessions if they know that, you know, they have some reimbursement for it, for their time. I don't know if that's something that the fund could be used for as well, Andy.
Yeah, no, fine. I'll say we're going to send out with the pack. We're going to send out a like a little application form, and the idea is that the people can or clubs can send that into us, and we'll just go through that and then allocate funds accordingly. So if someone was going to just run a like a charity event at their club, you know, they may get, you know, X, but if they want to run a coaching program for, you know, new females into the spot, they might get Y, but we'll look at that as the applications come in. Yeah. Thanks, Karen. Anybody else would like to come in with any ideas they might have around that? Anna, please come in.
Hi, everyone. We did something last year. We've done a mixture of things, but I think one point just to make, I think it's really important that everyone, and I hope that maybe everyone on the call is already aware of this, but women want very different things from the sports, and the atmosphere that you have at the club and the opportunity to be in an all women or all girls for that matter group is incredibly important to them. So use it as a marketing opportunity as well. Get them to come along, but make them understand that your venue or place to play has got something for them to mix into a group that is exclusively for women, and make sure that your venue is as welcoming as possible. And I'm sorry to be so basic about this, but make sure that your female toilets are clean and nice. And, you know, we've had feedback recently that this isn't always the case. These are all small things, but big things in the picture. But on to events. We ran actually a paddle and a tennis competition for Women's International Day last year. It was a fun social. It wasn't competitive as such. And we decorated the clubhouse. We just got purple and white balloons because that's the colour that they use. And we decorated the clubhouse with those. And we had a fantastic atmosphere. Everybody stayed afterwards for coffee. We had some new people join us who hadn't played the sport before, which was lovely. And we just really created a lovely atmosphere. And, you know, we're going to look kind of beyond that. In a way, it falling on a Saturday, I think for parents particularly may be tricky, you know, taking children to events or whatever. So I think we may do something on the Friday and kind of make it a Women's International weekend and think about how over the weekend we can give as many opportunities as possible. But yeah, really interested to hear everybody's ideas on this.
Yeah. How are you finding with female participation with your paddle courts at the moment, Anna? Because obviously it's a pretty inclusive sport, isn't it? And a bit easier to probably pick up than tennis.
Yeah, it's interesting. We've been looking, across our demographic split in all age groups and categories. And if I looked at tennis, we're only nearly equal with very young children or quite mature, the over 60s. They're the closest to parity. In between, you obviously get these where parents are obviously going off, mothers looking after children, there's a more desperate. But in paddle, it's slightly behind the tennis curve, actually, which is surprising. maybe it's because a lot of players have come from squash, which is predominantly male, but we're getting a lot more women starting because it is easier to learn than tennis. It's a bat and a ball, really, and you'll be having fun very quickly. So it is one thing that we are focusing on as well, particularly in paddle. But nationally, that is also the picture. I think it's about 32% of players are female.
Oh, right. Okay. No,
I've
no,
just got
thanks,
a
Rob.
quick question for Anna. Anna, so with regards to the paddle competition, sounds fantastic. From your perspective, if any funding was offered to clubs, for example, who are offering paddles competition, is there any type of avenue you could see where funding would be useful to increase and maximize reach for such events or competitions?
Yeah, I mean, I think I can't remember from last year, but I believe we gave it to a charity. I think we charged and gave to a charity. Paddle's a bit different to tennis in that in your tennis clubs, the courts are paid for, your members don't pay for them. It's very easy. In paddle, it's been a funded, you pay for your court. So if I go and play paddle later today, I'm going to be paying. So yes, I mean, we could do it certainly with disability groups, which we offer for free anyway. So we already have a program, we reach out. We don't have a specific girls group. I think that we could, and that's something that would be ideal to be funded. So if we set up for a girls community group to come along, yeah, that would be great. And we would put a coach in to deliver, you know, and to give some tips along the way to make it more enjoyable.
Thank you so much. That's really helpful.
Mr. Slater, we set up an all-women's box league. I'm going to put you on the spot there and just sort of say, how's that running? Have you got any ideas how that's been taken up by MEPM so far?
Yeah, it's going reasonably well. It's still early days. We've got a ladies only, and we've also got ladies in the mixed box leagues, which is a club only, and we've also got a inter-club one. The ladies one, I would say we're probably talking about 2 or 3 boxes at the most. So we definitely probably got some work to do on that. So yeah, we do have some work to do on that. But again, same as Anna, really, I looked at the profile of our members, and dare I say, on ClubSpot, when you see people's ages, the ladies, it all starts from 50 plus, really does. It's a really, there's a massive gap from 18 onwards. So that is kind of, it was quite revealing. Onto the kind of the potential events. I'm putting my head on the block because obviously this will need to go via committee and others. But rather than the one day, my thoughts are a series of events leading up to the 8th. So there's a little bit of choice, a little bit of timings issues that people can come to different things. And it could be the 9th as well. But I know on the 8th, we've got a quiz. So straight away, you could be thinking about, you know, making that a focus for International Women's Day on that evening. But I'm thinking different things going on during the week. So to support International Women's Day, taking exactly what Anna's mentioned about atmosphere. So there will be some exclusive groups, there might be some mixed groups, etc., and then working with our coaching team to provide that. So really, it's blue sky thinking. But I think it's better. I'm thinking for our club at least, it's better to have a series of events than just a one-off thing. Feels a little bit more sustainable after that.
Yeah,
I agree.
that's a great idea. And because it's International Women's Day is actually within Women's History Month, it can even be done the other way, where International Women's Day is the launch of it, and then a series of events throughout Women's History Month. So it can be done either way, really,
Yeah,
to enable flexibility to clubs and venues.
No, thanks, Rob. How many women do you think we've got? Sorry, Rob, in total in our box leagues at the moment? Any idea? I think we started it up last year, didn't we? So
I'm putting a finger in the air, Andy. I'd say no more than 15.
Yeah. Okay. No, thank you. Yeah, would anybody else like to sort of come in on ideas that they would like to do?
Sorry,
Yes.
Andy. Oh, sorry. Is that okay? Yeah, sorry. Thanks, Andy. I just actually Rob was mentioning blue sky thinking, and I'm kind of thinking, obviously this is really important that we celebrate women and this sort of whole sort of fight for equality but what about allies for women? I mean, I think the point is, there are lots of men who want to be on this journey with women to sort of get genuine equality. And at the LTA, I've just been joined a sort of an Allies for Women group, and I find it really inspiring and kind of opening my eyes. I've always thought of myself as someone who's very open-minded in this area, but I mean, there's so much as men that we can learn. And it's like, can clubs also think about maybe at this same time setting up Allies for Women groups? I mean, I'm sure there must be many in tennis clubs who want to get together to learn about gender equality and to support their women sort of on this journey. So, I certainly take on board what Anna has said about, that the event should be exclusively for women when it comes to the coaching, etc. But, I think it's important that we all accept that, men want to be welcoming and support this initiative and don't want to be completely excluded. So it's just a thought, a bit of blue sky thinking, putting it out there that maybe clubs can think about, well, maybe we should be advertising at this time about, hey, do we have a man at this, someone at this club who'd like to set up a sort of an Allies for Women group? And yeah, anyway, it's just a thought.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, if I can come in, good morning, everyone. At White Tennis Club, we've actually got a very strong ladies section, if you like, and as a result, they have ladies mornings, they have ladies paddle, and also they have ladies cardio, and all three are very well supported and well supported by the committee. So it's tennis for everyone, really.
Yeah, no. Yeah,
what's
thanks.
the Graham? What's the age profile of those ladies?
The yes, the paddle I would suggest is quite a wide range, probably from about 20 to 50, 60. The tennis tends to be older, and the cardio tends to be younger, from sort of 15 to 30, that sort of group.
Just kind of following off what Graham was saying, I think he nailed it in the head. It's all good and well doing events just during this period, but I think events would also be useful that could lead on to something more permanent, whether that's, ladies' mornings continuing in clubs or paddle sessions, etc.
Yeah, Jane, please come in.
Thank you, Andy. I think there's some fantastic ideas and thoughts going here. But I think one of the things that when you need to think about when you're thinking about events or open days is actually what the barriers are to women, because sometimes it's quite difficult to understand what those barriers are. And it's interesting where you talk about the ages and the fact that some people, I think Rob was saying that they're 50 plus. Obviously, when people bring their family up, there's a lot of barriers there to do with childcare. And it's always an issue when you're trying to encourage women to come back into sport, whether they've dropped out, whether they want to come back. You're traditionally going to get, and I'm not being sexist, but it does tend to sometimes fall on the females more than it does the males, that you've always got this issue with childcare. There's a big issue at the moment about women feeling safe because of the stats in relation to how much violence there's been against women and girls in particular. I went to the safeguarding conference in October, and I was absolutely shocked at some of the stats that came out. So when we're thinking about trying to get more women and girls to, coming in, they often need to come together. They haven't got the confidence to come on their own, whether it's with, I don't know, a mum and their child, daughter, or bringing the children, or a buddy system. It's quite difficult for women to actually walk in or come on their own. I can remember where I used to teach a lot of aerobics and stuff, and I remember meeting a lady who was standing on the leisure centre steps, absolutely petrified she wouldn't come in, and she wouldn't have come in if I hadn't have taken her hand and came in with her, because she hadn't got the confidence just to walk through the doors. And that's quite difficult sometimes to people to understand, where they're so involved in sport, they're comfortable, but it's quite hard to understand why some people may feel so intimidated, that they can't step foot through the door. So I just think that sometimes we have to think of these barriers, and it's quite difficult to think if you've never been in that situation yourself.
Yeah, no, I agree, Jane. I mean, we set up a buddy system a good few years ago for any new players coming to the club, full stop, and that's worked very well, especially, as I said, with the women coming in as well. They do want to feel that they're welcomed and they're part of it, and that because they haven't played tennis since maybe school, that it's fine. And we've got people at our club who are in the same position. And I know that Kate, who's on the call today, our coach, even said about, could you get like a women's cardio session? And if they come with their children on a subsequent call, you can coach the children while the mums do the cardio session, or dads, as that might be. So yeah, there's definitely options there. But you're right, it's as well as getting any new members, especially female members, to your club, you just got to look after them and make sure you hold their hand until they get to know people, which does take about a year or so until they integrate into coaching programs or social play as well. So no, thanks, Jane. Yeah, Anna, do you want to come back in again?
Yeah, just something else I've just remembered. It's funny, the habits we have at the club that we don't actually ever address. We have always introduced new members really, really quickly. A member of the tennis committee would welcome them and go and have a play with them and try and introduce them to people of their own ability to get them into a group. But we'd never really considered the fact that often it was men who were doing the hitting with women. And when we started analysing where the take-up wasn't always, we'd offer to play with someone and it wasn't all taken up, the penny suddenly dropped. So if you can have a lady, a woman in the club who always welcomes the other female members, it makes a massive difference. And we've already seen 100% take-up by just making that small change. And just to reinforce one point, there's been a couple of surveys. There's been I can share with Janet if anyone wants to do a lot of reading, but Vitality Health in November did a really big research on active women. And it's got lots of interesting points. But one of the key things that comes out for women participating in any sport, the number one thing is the social aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah. As I said, social play can be a bit interesting as well and quite daunting for people. Females coming in for the first time as well, and I mean we've had a PEG system for years and years, and we've just sort of stepped that down probably I think since COVID, and we've gone to the card system again, but having social organisers there, which we've had since COVID, to welcome new players. And also, work out where they fit. There's no point in them going straight into a play where it's a tough match where they do feel a bit intimidated as well. So having a social organizer, introducing the new players to the club and to the social players is great as well, and just making sure that they do play, in their standard as well, because there's nothing worse than them turning up and playing in a very difficult match, feeling very overwhelmed about it, and obviously not returning. So definitely food for thought there as well. Karen, if you come back in again, please.
Yes, going back to what you were saying, Andy, about how if you have the women's cardio session and maybe have coaching next door for the kids, you could always flip that round and try to run a cardio session when you've got a junior session going on, and trying to encourage the mums and to take part, because they're just sitting there maybe watching their kids. That might actually get them involved, and do it the other way around, if that makes sense. So yeah.
No, often clubs these days have probably got higher junior membership than they have adults. So if you have got a family, two parents there or carers or whatever, then you've got potential membership and participation straight away. So no, I agree. I think potentially the sales pitch has probably got to come to the parents while they're watching their juniors, and having someone on the committee or another coach talking to the parents and seeing if they're interested in picking up a racket, and would they be prepared to join in a cardio session and on another call would be on Saturday would be great. So yeah, no, I totally agree, Karen. Yes.
No, I have to also agree with Karen there, because I remember at our club when we asked the school to we offered our club school, and the school that we had 23 members from the school join the club, but very importantly, so did 9 of their parents. They'd never thought about joining. So it really is a good way of increasing your membership.
No.
Sorry, I'm really sorry, everyone. I don't know how to use the phone in terms of putting my hands up, so please forgive me. But I would like to say something, please.
Yes, yeah, fire away, Mary. Yes, it's because you're not on video as well, so I couldn't see any hands raised. But please, what club are you from, Mary? Sorry, I wasn't there from the start.
So I run my own club called Racket and Hope Tennis Academy.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's a very small club. I don't know where I fit in this conversation. I've been listening and trying to kind of see if I understand it, but I get the gist that we're speaking about like an International Women's Event Day, and some really useful conversations have come out of this. And it just prompted me to think that since I've been running, there are a lot of women that want to join my club, and indeed their children as well. But for me, I don't know, like, kind of where to get this help from helping them, because of course I need to get coaches in to help me run the sessions, because I want to run them at a good level. And some of these parents and children, they can't even afford, if you like a minimal amount of money to pay for the use of the facilities that I've been given. And I don't know where I fit in this conversation, really, to be honest.
Yeah. Whereabouts are you based, Mary?
I'm based in Fulham.
In Fulham.
Yes,
right.
I'm from an ethnic background, and
yes.
a lot of the say for instance Muslim people want to join my club with their children. Some of the ethnic children want to join. I also have affluent children in my club as well, which is very nice. But I just can't reach the audience that I would also like to help.
Yeah. And is it park courts that that you're running out of there? Is it park courts that you've been given the operation of?
No, so the borough's given me affiliation to use their courts, and like I said, I just run independently for now. Not that I always want to be independent like that. I'm under the LTA, in terms of licensing, things like that. So no, it's not. I don't think it's park courts.
No.
I've got affiliation through the borough to use their courts.
Yeah. So just assistance in sort of finding maybe coaches locally to the area, and how you would get participation on the courts, really, Mary.
Yeah, so I mean, I can get access to coaches. I can get real good coaches, but in terms of say, for instance, if I wanted to run regular sessions all year through, because we've got floodlights, for some of these families who are ethnic or come from underprivileged backgrounds.
Yeah.
It's impossible to really continue kind of really drawing them in. So what I'm finding is that although I came out to say I would really like to give back to the community, and I'd like to help some of these children, my audience is switching from underprivileged and ethnic to affluent, and I welcome them. They're very welcome. But at the end of the day, there are children out there who should be given a chance.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Well, I said after the meeting today, I can give you a call, Mary, if that's okay. So
that would be great.
Yeah, if you can email, because we've had some guest speakers in Southwest London on recently, so I can put you in contact with those. They do run park courts locally, but successfully, and certain in certain areas where they've managed to increase participation on the courts that they've got. So I'll give you a call afterwards, Mary, if that's okay.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. But anybody else like to come in with any sort of ideas that you might have gained or gleaned over this morning at all?
Andy, just a word of caution. Is just, I think we want participation, but we don't want to scare people into joining the club, that sort of thing. I think if we got people just on the courts, and for a few times, I think clubs just got to be sensitive about gently getting people to play, and in time if they join, but if they just pay visitors fees or no visitors fees. We just do gently. I just don't think it's the right message to say join straight away or within a week or two. These people are just finding their way into activity, which, you know, we hope is going to be tennis. So, and that's where possibly funding could help some clubs.
Yeah.
Hey, Andy.
Oh yeah, Kate, please come in.
Hiya. I was just thinking that the point made about the social side for women coming into a new sport, certainly. And I definitely agree with the fact that like most women, and me included, if they go to something new, would like to take a friend and would not necessarily do it on their own. So it perhaps some sort of funding around bring a friend for free could work, and then it's 50-50, and the coach could then perhaps tot up how many numbers, and then the like 50% is funded through Kent. I don't know if that's possible, but it just might be. There's a charity which is, I think it's called Tennis for Free or something like that, and they basically fund free tennis. They pay the coach a certain amount, and then the coach has to submit the number of people attending that session. And so I don't know if that's possible for a women's only or a women's funded session where where 50% is funded through Kent, for example.
Yeah. So would that be more like a member brings somebody in for free, Kate, or potentially two people turn up that aren't a member of a club or whatever, and then
it ties to the local community, and I see it, and I say, oh, you can bring a friend for free. So essentially, it's 50-50. It's like 50% off for both of us. So we both go. If I go, then it's full price. If I bring a friend, then it's half price.
Yes.
Both, I'm more inclined to want to do that because one, I get some money off, but also two, I get to do it with a friend potentially.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And some of the larger managed clubs where your memberships are bulging at the moment, is that something that you would still like to do? In other words, are some managed clubs out there just thinking, well, our membership's like shut now and we're not prepared to open our doors anymore, or would managed clubs still be prepared to open their doors to have people play at their clubs sort of free for a period of time until they do find their feet, as Rob said? Anna, what's your thoughts on that, if you're still with us?
I am still with you. Let me just pull my video back up again. Nothing worse than talking to a black screen. Yeah, I mean, our paddle membership is full, but we offer pay and play. We always offer pay and play. So there is no barrier as far as we're concerned. We're always welcoming new people to come and use courts. I doubt there's a club in the country that's got all of their courts busy all of the times. There may be some peak times that are not so accessible, but no, we would welcome anybody anytime.
Yeah, excellent. Glad to hear. Adam, has that given you? I'm going to put you on the spot now at Tunbridge Wells, because you've started to come on these Zooms, and it's fantastic that you have done, really, Adam. But Tunbridge Wells is a very big club in Kent. Is there anything that you've started to do with women only, or is it about gleaning ideas today? You're on mute, Adam.
Yeah, a little bit of both. It's been really interesting hearing everybody's stories, and it got me looking out over our courts at the moment. And out of 13 courts that are available, 12 are being used. We've got a pay and play adult drill session running with 8 players, 7 are women. They're all mid to late 30s. And it's got me thinking about my program, because obviously it's my program. So sometimes you don't see the wood for the trees. You just, it is your program. But I mean, we've got a ladies over 60s wheeled match going on against Crowborough. We've got social doubles. I guess our biggest issue walking into the job was the integration of people into the club, because a club this size, it's very easy to get lost. And I think particularly with women, and Irene, the club manager, and I spotted an issue there, and now we have a Becky. Becky is our membership person, and we create a routine for everybody in a buddy system and a welcome pack. And that's definitely helped with retention. I think with a club this size, and you know, if I do say it, it's a great club. I think it's very easy to sell a club. It can be more challenging to get them to sign up the second year. So our membership is incredibly strong, but we've opened up an awful amount of extra pay and play sessions, which are running at least 90% capacity every week if we haven't got black ice on the court. So we're doing what we can to open the club up. The membership is holding at about 900, so we've gone up over 100 in the last 12 months. But there are more and more sessions being added. We're not targeting women as such, but I love the idea that was brought up earlier of a build-up for International Women's Day. I think that's a lovely thing. Don't just throw it on one day, of multiple events, and you know, create a bit of a buzz over it. I think that's lovely. Definitely something we'll look at here.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. And what's your gender split, do you think, at the moment in Tunbridge Wells? Have you any idea?
Can't hear Andy. Sorry, Andy, I missed that.
Your gender split at your club?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's interesting. I think for the coaching program, we've got things like we have an over 50s tactics group, which is full every term. As a coach, it can be challenging to coach anybody over 50, and I can say that because I'm over 50. So that group is more about using what they've got in a better way. So it's a tactical group. It's 12 over 50 ladies. They all compete with us to varying degrees. We have a ladies box league similar to Mepham. We have a Winter Slam league, which is men's doubles, ladies doubles, and mixed, all combined because it's practice. All of those things are incredibly popular. I'd say for the coaching program, we're probably 70% women on the adult program, and 30% guys. I think that's potentially because of the way the program is split between daytime and evenings. But we've done things like we did a workshop as an outdoor club. Those of you that work outdoor, serving can be an issue with juniors because you don't often get enough time to serve when it's really cold. So we did a workshop where I did the fundamentals of serving for mini Orange players, and I invited the parents to come on for the workshop so they could work with their own child on what we were doing. And what really surprised me and made me really happy was it was almost 100% the mums that came on, which was really good. I didn't design that. That was by luck. But it was nice having the mums on with their kids, because quite often on the weekends it's the dads that bring the kids to various sessions. So that was quite a nice thing. And we're running a parent-child tournament in the next 6 weeks as well, which is hopefully going to be very popular.
Yeah, no, well done, Adam. Excellent. No, thanks very much. And Danny, I think you're quite new to our Zoom coffee mornings as well. And I think you run from a school, don't you, in the Medway Towns? So
yeah,
is it
right, yeah.
Yeah, have you done anything around sort of girls at the school specifically, or is it just all the children at the school?
Yeah, I mean, I think really we are kind of even though I offer after school club to the school, and we do get girls that attend that. We're kind of more focused on the coaching program that we do in the evenings, and it's since I've started really about sort of 3 years ago, I've always had a ladies session on a Monday evening, which we do. And then in regards to the International Women's Day, I put up a grade 6 like women's doubles match play. See if people want to come in and do that. But really from the experience that I've had so far is we've got quite a nice sort of like welcoming kind of atmosphere in the club. And I really do think that sometimes that the best thing that you can do is just kind of just treat everybody almost the same. I know that we all come in with different backgrounds and things like that, but almost the best diversity is almost not talking about diversity sometimes, and just kind of just let everybody come in and just treat them as the individual that they are and cater to whatever they are as an individual. And I think people really kind of respond to that and respect that. And we've got our mixing sessions 3 times a week, 2-hour sessions, coaching sessions, and we've got higher level players playing with like lower level players, and there's that sort of that if you set the boundary, like the sort of the foundations right for that, everyone kind of sort of understands, okay, I'm going to work with a beginner, that's fine, 5 minutes or whatever, and then both sort of see the benefit, and then everyone kind of gets that social aspect as well, and then just kind of like everyone is just included in that way. So that's kind of how we go about it, really. But in terms of like EDI and stuff like that, that's stuff that I would like to sort of get more kind of like a bit more of a clearer message, perhaps on my website and stuff, and talk to the LTA about like maybe getting like some kind of like a template or something, because I've been on the Kent tennis one and seen that you've got like a policy, and so hearing Jason talk as well, and it'd be quite nice to maybe have a chat with Jason or something like that, just to sort of like help me sort of like maybe write a policy or something like that, just so I can get it up on the website, just so people can see that we are sort of complying as well. So I think that's in my interest as well.
Yeah, no, I've been a couple of people have mentioned to me about having maybe a coffee morning regarding policies and what should be, on websites for tennis clubs as well. So it's something that we are thinking of. But yeah, if Jason can give you a hand, I'm sure he will, Danny, regarding that. And we probably could advertise. When's your tournament? Is it on the Saturday, the 8th of March? Is it your match play tournament?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so we've got 14 players already. So it's looking like it's going to be a nice bit of fun, and it's very similar to what people sort of said throughout the sort of the meeting, where it's like it's meant to be sort of grassroots, social, bit of fun, trying to sort of have sort of local people. If you go onto the LTA competitions, and if you just type in Women's Day doubles, you should come up.
Excellent. Yeah, Jason, shall I hand back to you now? Is there anything that you want to say after what you've heard this morning?
No, I don't really have much to add. All I would say is it's really good to hear some great ideas coming through, and I would really like to stress that venues and clubs know their spaces better than us. So when we put the application up for funding, just to reiterate, we are going to keep it really loose, so venues and clubs can put forward ideas that work specifically for their clubs and target the barriers to participation in their specific clubs. But yeah, just to reiterate, we'll share resources after this meeting, and it was really lovely chatting with all of you and hearing the great ideas. It makes me very excited for the coming year.
Thank you. We're also going to share a video that was done by Sue Bamford, who can't be with us today, but she's quite an inspirational lady who's worked at multiple venues. I think originally she came from South Africa with just a tennis racket in her backpack originally to the UK. And she's worked very closely with Sandy Proctor, the LTA president, over many years as well. As I said, she gave us a video today, and we'll share that with you. But the idea is, as I said, leading up to International Women's Day is, if there is inspirational women at your club, and I'm sure there must be at every club, we wouldn't mind a short video sent into Kent Tennis about them. And we're prepared to play that and share that, during the whole month of March. So we want details on what you have arranged at your clubs, and any videos on or with inspirational women at your clubs also. So we want to just promote this as much as we can in and around the 8th of March and International Women's History Month. Yeah, inspirational women, please, from your clubs. And if you do get some Kent funding, then we would like a bit of feedback on what you've organised at your clubs as well. But please feed back to us, and then we can promote this again bigger and better again next year in 2026. Just want to yes. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so I just want to thank Jason for for telling us all about it today and presenting. So thanks very much, Jason.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Right, I'm going to pass back over to Janice, if that's okay.
Yeah, thank you, Andy, and thank you, Jason. Yeah, does anyone got any more good news stories? I know we shared a couple at the very beginning before we started, but is there anyone there that's got something they want to share with us?
This isn't a good news story as such, Janice, but listening to the club that had a surprise visit from the safeguarding chappie. We haven't had a safeguarding visit for about 10 years, and I wouldn't mind one being arranged just to make sure we're still up to speed, because you do sort of forget what you should be doing, perhaps. So we're away until the end of March now, but after that, if you could get in touch with me, that would be good.
That's great. Yeah, we got Jane on the call today. She's our Kent Tennis safeguarding officer. So Jane will flag that up with Stuart in over the next few weeks and see whether we can get a visit.
Lovely, thank you.
Okay, Graham, thank you. So then, if there's no more good news stories, then I'd just like to tell you about our next date of our next meeting. Our next coffee morning will be on Tuesday, the 18th of February. We are still deciding on the topic. It could be about our diversity grant, our new diversity grant. We will definitely be sharing more news about that topic over the next couple of months. I'm not sure if it's going to be February or March, but the next meeting will be at 10 o'clock on the 18th of February. So do put that date in your diary. So I think that's it from us today. And thank you all for joining us.
Thanks,
very
Janet.
much.
Great video.
Yeah, thanks very much. And Mary, if you want to